Hey everyone, I hope you're having a great week. I've actually selected this setting for this week's video for a purpose. We're in one of the children's ministry rooms at North Park. That's because I want to talk to you about children for a moment. I want to use an illustration for you. As many of you know, I have 4 children. They're all well into their 20s and 30s now. But when they were younger, when we had a cottage in a place called Chesley Lake, and so they would have been ages 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, all of those ages. And we used to go to the cottage, but we used to also play golf at a little par 3 golf course that they had. But we had to travel around the lake to get to this golf course, and we generally did it on our bikes. Carolyn would be leading up front on the bike, and then the kids would follow her, and then I'd be at the end. Usually my youngest son, DJ, would be riding beside me, talking to me about his day. We're riding on a bike path to get to the golf course, and then we would ride home. For whatever reason, one particular memory of a bike ride stands out for me. I remember Carolyn again was ahead, and the other 3 kids were ahead of me, and then DJ was riding with me. He would have been 8 or 9 at the time. We were riding on the main path to get back to our cottage, but at one point the path veered to the left. And as we're riding along talking, all of a sudden DJ says, "Dad, I'm going to go to the left. I want to go on this path." And he was gone. There were woods around. I couldn't see him the moment he went down that path. And I have to tell you, I panicked for a moment because now he was out of my sight. He had taken a different path, a path different than what we were used to. And it was at that moment that a Bible passage came to my mind. It was from Proverbs 22 at verse 6. In the NLT translation, it says, "Direct your child onto the right path, and when they're older, they will not leave it." You may know it as the King James Version translation a little better. "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it." But this analogy of my son going off on a different path at 8 or 9 suddenly made me realize, you know what? There's going to be times in his life where he decides to take a different path than we have directed him to, than we've raised him to. And I've got to trust that he'll come back. Now, as I was pondering all that, sure enough, about 100 meters down the pathway, he came zipping back and joined beside me, and we kind of laughed about it at the time. But I don't think he realized then, or still realizes to this day, just how much he taught me when he veered off the path when he was 8 or 9 years old. That passage from Proverbs 22:6, it's a passage we're going to address this week as we continue in our series, The Bible According to Me, Misunderstanding Scripture, because that passage is often misunderstood. We use it as a guilt or an ironclad promise that if we do this, then God will certainly do that. But it was never meant to be a guarantee. It was a wise way of living. If we train our child in the way they should go, then they will find the right path. But it's not a guarantee. Some of you know that you have children who you raise them in faith, and yet they've stepped away from it, and that's difficult. We've also used that passage to guilt parents when their kids have wandered away. And that's not the way that it was intended to be used at all. We're going to address it more this weekend. I hope that you'll join us, whether online or whether in our services this Sunday. God bless you. Take care.